thoughts and prayers are with his family during this very challenging time. The Chiefs and the city of Kansas City have truly lost an icon. Len Dawson has been associated with the Chiefs organization for 60 years, and his impact both on and off the field will be remembered by generations of pro football fans. Len was my first sports hero, and he remained somebody I admired and respected his entire life. His impact on the Kansas City Chiefs and everyone who has ever worked for the organization cannot be overstated.
Len being your first sports hero, and I wonder what made him that, and I also wonder if that stayed with you kind of all your life, all his life, that feeling of the way you first saw him.
Yeah, it sure did. I think it was, to a large degree, a coincidence of, my age and when Len was having so much success on the field for the Chiefs. He was really synonymous with those early Texans and Chiefs teams that won 3 AFL championships and Super Bowl IV. And so it was pretty easy for a 6 or 7-year-old kid to look up to Len and say, hey, that's one of my heroes. And you're exactly right. That feeling really stayed with me my entire life. And I think back to 10 or 11 years ago, shortly after I'd taken over leadership of the Chiefs, sitting down and doing an interview with him, and just how surreal that was. I was doing an interview about my leadership of the Chiefs with somebody who I literally idolized as a kid. So it did stay with me, and I think that was true of really everybody who came to work for the Chiefs. I remember Scott Pioli telling me he had a very similar experience when he did his first interview with Len, and just how awestruck he was to be doing an interview with a Pro Football Hall of Famer and somebody who had accomplished so much off the field as well as on. Well, I think Len was really the first big sports celebrity in Kansas City, and he certainly is up there in the top 2 or 3 or 4 to ever have played for teams in Kansas City. And I think really anybody who grew up during that era grew up cheering for Len Dawson. He was the undisputed leader of the Chiefs team that went to the Super Bowl and eventually won the Super Bowl. So I think not only me, but anybody who was cheering for the team during that era has a very fond memory and a very special bond with him. The thing, of course, that makes Len so unique is his career didn't stop when his playing days were done in 1975. He went on to this amazing broadcast career, both TV and radio. And through that, he stayed attached to the Chiefs and also the city of Kansas City. So that gave, future generations that weren't necessarily alive when he was winning Super Bowls, but it gave them a connection with Len Dawson and the Chiefs that I think makes him truly special in the pantheon of great players to have ever played for the Chiefs or, frankly, any Kansas City team. As a child, I just remember being on the Chiefs field and looking up to Len. Of course, as a child, all the players were huge, and he was actually one of the smaller one of the group. But he was the one that had the it factor. He was the one who was the leader of the team, and I remember looking at him like that. As I mentioned earlier, I think he's synonymous with the success of the early Chiefs organization. And those early teams that really helped establish the Chiefs in the American Football League. But I think when you step back and think about him in terms of Kansas City, I think he's synonymous with somebody who cared about the community and was really focused on finding ways to give back.